No, just give me a second.
Yeah, no worries.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mark. How you been doing today?
Excellent, as usual. I know that you're going to give the same answer when I ask you, right?
People start calling me always good guy, so yeah, always good.
Yeah.
Okay. So simply saying, I do not want to waste anybody's time. I am just straightforward guy. Let's jump it into the presentation, and Mark, it's all yours. I believe that will be the best option because we are believing that information is the key, not talking about weather or anything else. Let's jump it, right? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
Perfect. So let's go and make presenter.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here. And let me know if you can see this.
We see some nice power of routine. Yep, we see it.
Good. Well, no, I'm just going to, do you see the GoToWebinar control panel at all?
Just give me a second.
I just want to make sure that it's off screen. I'll just put it in the bottom.
It's off the screen, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is introduce the power of routine. So as you get into this, you'll find that when in real estate, but in any realm of success, you will find that people who are extremely successful have some kind of routine. Now, there are weekly routines, there are monthly routines, and I'll talk about those at the end. But the most important one that I want to talk about right now is your daily routine. And I'm gonna start with a story about this morning for me. So Monday morning, I know that it's important to start off my day and my week properly. And yet, you know what? I've got an advertising system for Facebook. I went to my advertising system and just checked on it really quickly, first thing in the morning, 5 o'clock. And what I discovered was a couple of things had gone wrong, whatever. No big deal. Next thing you know, I'm like 10, 15, 20 minutes later, and it's completely disrupted my routine. And so that started off my day and my week in a certain way. Now, it doesn't hurt me at all to put that to the side, wait until 8 o'clock when I actually start my business day and get into it, right? And yet I made the choice early on to have Facebook dictate what was happening in my life, which is ridiculous. That's crazy. The beauty is that because I got such a strong routine, it wasn't a big deal. Okay, I was able to just move on. It was a very insignificant thing, and I simply have moved on from that. So how many of you, as you're watching this, how many of you find that you get on Facebook or you get on whatever in the morning, and before you know it, it's 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever, and you haven't got done what you need to do? Maybe you've searched the internet a little bit or done whatever, but at the end of the week you go, wait a second, I feel so out of control. The power of routine is that you can feel in control every day, no matter what happens. So I'm going to go to the next slide here. And actually, I'm going to play this. Are you able to see this now, Jarek?
I was muted. Routine helps with, but okay, I don't see anything.
To make sure. Sometimes it just zips along in a different way. So one of the beauties of routine is that it sets a foundation for your day. It doesn't only set a foundation for your day, it sets a foundation for your life. So I'm going to just give you a really quick few examples here. You can set your attitude. You can feel in control by being in control. And that's what routine is all about, is about you dictating what's happening instead of something else dictating for you. So you've heard about like setting a schedule. A schedule is simply you being in control of your day or your week or your month. A budget, a financial budget, that's simply you having a plan of control for your money. And what a routine is this other aspect, this other really important habit where you can feel in control for the day. So real estate agents, entrepreneurs, real estate investors. I talk to a lot of people all the time who say, yeah, but Mark, other people do dictate my day. I have to do this in the evening, or I have to do this in the morning, or I have to do this. No, listen, when you are an entrepreneur, when you are doing the things that you are desiring to do, don't allow other people to dictate what happens in your day. You dictate what happens in your day. And as you do that, other people will respect your time more, and you will get far more done. So there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there that work 16-hour days. That's crazy. There's no way I'm going to be working 16-hour days. I love my family. I love going out and backcountry camping in the summer. I like doing my own thing. So because of that, I've decided I'm going to set a routine that works for me. Would you rather be influenced by other people and their schedules, or would you rather be influenced by yourself? Guess what? If people really want what you're doing, if people really want what you're doing, so for example, you're talking to somebody who is a distressed homeowner. If they really want your help, guess what? You can find out whether they're a tire kick or not right away by simply saying, I'm free between this time and this time. Does that work for you? And if it doesn't work, you go, too bad. Now, listen, a lot of people get scared and go, yeah, but I'm going to lose some deals. Listen, you may lose, I don't know, a few deals every year. But what you're going to find is that because you're not wasting time with tire kickers, because you're not wasting time having your schedule dictated by somebody else, what is going to happen is that you are going to get way more deals because of it. You're going to be far more efficient. There's going to be a lot happening. And now I mentioned Facebook in the morning. Would you rather be influenced by the latest murder on the news or by your goals and dreams? Think about that for a second. Think about what kind of attitude or mindset it puts you in the morning. If you watch the news for like a second, you'll find out something wrong that's going on, okay? What will help you feel better? Your own goals and dreams, your own focus, or something that somebody else is putting in your head. When there is change in life, and this is really important, it's not a big deal when you've got a good foundation. When there's something kind of change in your day. So for example, this morning I got off my routine a little bit. Well, because I've got a strong routine, I was able to get right back in. It's a foundation for me. In the same way, I'm going to give you an example, okay? So say one person is just getting into real estate investing. They've had a recent divorce, so there's been a lot of change in their lives, okay? And then their parent dies. So this is person number one, their parent dies. How is that person going to handle that emotionally compared to the second person who's been real estate investing full-time for 10 years now? They've got their relationships in place for the time being. If that person has a parent die, who's going to handle it better? Well, of course it's going to be the second person because they don't have a ton of change in their lives right now. The more change you have in your daily life. Now listen, I know entrepreneurs are this way. Entrepreneurs are like, hey, I'm a free spirit. I'm like an artist. I want everything to kind of flow, and I just do things however they work. Listen, if you are serious about your business, you are going to have this set routine. And when you have this set routine, if something does throw you off for a little bit, and I mean, I'm talking about huge issues there with like divorce and parents dying and stuff like that. What I'm saying is that if something throws you off, it's going to throw you off for a few seconds. You're going to be able to handle it because you know everything else that's happening that day. You've got a plan for that day. Now, next slide or next point here is that it helps with doing things automatically. So I've given this example a lot, but there are things that are difficult to do in business. So for example, maybe cold calling. Maybe that's the thing that you don't like to do. But I'm going to ask you to think just for a second here. What are the one or two things that you don't really enjoy doing when it comes to real estate investing? I'll give you a second. What are the one or two things that you dislike the most? Now, if you make it a routine that you do that consistently, you know what's going to happen? It's going to become the easiest thing in your day. And you're not even going to think about it. I'll give you a really quick example. So my son asked me, Daddy, do you like driving? He's 6 years old. He said, do you like driving? And I had to think about it. I'm like, well, I don't dislike it. I don't like it. It's just something I do to get where I need to go. It's just some tool that I use for my day. At one time, driving was very difficult for me. I remember the first time I was driving, and I was overturning or underturning, almost hitting vehicles, and this is just on my home street for the first 100 meters of driving. Listen, if you set a routine, if you do something consistently, if you have a routine, if you have a habit, then all of a sudden things become easy, and you don't have to think about them. All right? So, for example, let's talk about investing. If the thing that you don't like doing or the thing that you find difficult is cold calling people and asking, hey, do you want to sell your property? Are you interested in selling? I noticed your ad in the paper. Would you be doing this? Or say calling people money partners for investment purposes. If that's the thing you dislike doing or you find difficult, then this is my suggestion. You have a routine of doing it every single day first thing in the morning. You do it at 8 o'clock, not first thing when you wake up, but first thing in your business day. What that's going to do is it's going to become like driving. At one time it was really difficult, and now it's super simple. You don't even have to think about it. Or here's another example, tying your shoes. At one time, tying your shoes was really difficult. Listen, as you do it every day, it becomes easy. It becomes a non-issue. You don't spend any time, any energy thinking about it. And that's really important, because now you can use your brain energy on far more important things. If you are spending all your energy working yourself up to make this one call that you do once every week or once every 2 weeks or once every 6 weeks, it's a big deal now. When you're doing it automatically every day, it becomes a non-issue. It becomes part of your routine, and you just move on with your day. You also become a lot better at it, okay? Okay, next point. There are so many health benefits to this, all right? I talked about how if you had a routine and something throws you off, you can just jump right back into your day. That's how this works. But when a lot is in flux, when a lot of your life is in flux, and listen, entrepreneurship, real estate investing, there are some times where there are a lot of things going on, okay? There are a lot of things to manage. A routine helps anchor you. Not only that, though, it helps with feeling good about yourself every day. So I'll give you an example. Seinfeld, the comedian, Jerry Seinfeld has a, he calls it, well, other people I think call it the Seinfeld system, but it's the way to create momentum. What he does is he's got a calendar on his wall, and every day that he does the thing that he wants to do every day, he just marks off that day. He just puts a big X on that day. Now, there's something really cool that starts to happen with routine is you start to build momentum. And after the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day where you've done something every day, you start to feel like, wait a second, I need to do this now. I've had 5, 6 days in a row. I'm definitely going to do the 7th day. I'm definitely going to do the 8th day. And you start doing like 30 days, 40 days, 60 days. If you've made a call to a potential money partner every day for 60 days, guess what? Not only have you found money, not only are you better at it, but you start feeling great about yourself. You start feeling good every day. And you know what? Entrepreneurship, selling, business is all about feeling good and feeling confident every day. So imagine how you would feel looking at a calendar after you've done something every day for 30, 40, 50, 60 days. It feels amazing. I guarantee that, okay? I practice this all the time. And when you have an off day, you can get right back on track because you've already built all this momentum. You've already built all the momentum you need. So what would it be like to never have a down month or a down week again? I've got tons of clients that I work with, and they say, Mark, I've had a down week where I just haven't done a lot this week according to my goals. And I go, are you kidding me? Like, listen to me, create a routine, and then you're going to have, like, the downtime that you're going to have is like an hour maybe, or maybe 5 minutes, and you'll get right back on track. So this is really, really important for your confidence levels, just for your mental health, feeling good about yourself, all right? Last point here for this slide is that it sets you apart from everyone around you. When you are consistent, when you have a routine, other people notice because you're more organized, and that comes across to other people. So I'm going to give you an example. I have other people constantly tell me, wow, Mark, you're so organized, or wow, Mark, you're always on top of things. They make those comments all the time. Now, is it because I'm perfect? Is it because I'm on top of things all the time? No, it's not. Sometimes my office is a mess. Sometimes there are other things going on, okay? But because I have this consistent routine, people know that they can rely on me. So if I'm a real estate investor, which I am, how safe do people now feel with me? How safe do people feel investing their money with me when I am consistent, when I'm safe? Think about that for a moment. If you are struggling to have people invest in your properties or in deals that you want to do, what do you need to do? Start building a routine, because as you have a routine, other people are going to notice, and they're going to go, wow, this person, this guy, this girl is amazing. They're really organized. They just feel they're always in control. That's going to come off to other people around you, and they're going to deal more with you, okay? Now, listen, is it going to help or hurt your business? Think about the risk or reward, okay? What's the worst thing that can happen if you have a routine? What's the worst thing that can happen? There is no worst thing, right? Some people go, oh, I lose some of my freedom. That's not true. You gain more freedom because you're so much more efficient. What's the best thing that happens? You get a few more deals every month. That's the best thing that happens, okay? Now let's go to this next slide. this is my suggestion, okay? So I'm going to have a bunch of suggestions on this page. My suggestion is you start a routine early in the morning, okay? Find three successful people that don't have an early start to the day. Now, listen, this is what I'm going to measure by success, okay? I'm not going to say like your friend down the street that makes a couple $100,000 a year. That's not successful, okay? I'm talking about people who are in control of their lives, who are at the top of their game. So, I'll give you an example. Kobe Bryant. I read a quick thing on Kobe Bryant. It was just a quote. And it was, somebody had sent it to me, but it basically said, I'm an overnight success. I wake up at 4:30 every morning. So this is Kobe Bryant. He has basketball games late in the evenings. And yet he wakes up every day at 4:30 in the morning to practice and to work out and get his mind right. And he said, I've done that for like 35 years, and then I'm called an overnight success. You want to be an overnight success? You want to get rich quick? Well, just have a good routine for 30 years. So start early, okay? Because Kobe Bryant is one of the most successful basketball players who's ever played the game. And he accredits his success to waking up at 4:30, dedication to just doing things that other people won't do. There's a great article. What's the name? It'll come to me, okay? But basically it's an article that says successful people do things that unsuccessful people, that failures, don't want to do. So get in the routine of doing things that other people don't want to do, and you will make money. For example, I'll give you an example with my brother. He's a real estate agent, and he said, Mark, people talk to me all the time about how much money I make. And they want the money, but they're not willing to do the things to get the money. Okay? They're not willing to be in sales. They're not willing to give up certain things in life. So what do you want? Are you willing to give up your mornings? Again, I've worked with hundreds of people. I've helped them with routines. And out of all those people, I've probably had 3 people that after they honestly tried waking up in the mornings and having a routine. Now, by try, I don't mean like 1 morning or 3 mornings. They actually tried for a few weeks and went, how do I feel? What's going on here? After fooling around with this for like 4, 5, 6 weeks, they said, honestly, this is what's going on in my life. I listened to them and said, you know what? Mornings don't work for you. But 3 people out of hundreds. Most people say they're not morning people, not because they're not. Most people say it just because they don't like it, okay? And that's fine. And it's fine if you don't do this. But you've got to decide what you want in life. And if you want to have success, I'm going to suggest getting up early. Now, this is going to be different for everyone, okay? I've got a business partner who said, I'm not good in the mornings, Mark. I said, what time do you wake up? He said, the earliest I get up is about 6. But he gets up at 6 every single morning. That's fine. Listen, what I'm talking about is don't start your day at 9 o'clock in the morning, okay? If you're starting your days at 9 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to get as much done, generally speaking. Generally speaking, that's a generalized comment, okay? Again, you're in control. I wake up early in the morning, and because of that, it's quiet. I have peace and quiet. It's not busy. My kids don't bother me until like what, 6:30, 7 o'clock at the earliest, okay? That's if they get up early, it's 6:37. So listen, I've got lots of time, I've got lots of control. Now, you will always finish more before lunch than after. I ran a crew. I remember first being out of high school and university, and I was running a construction crew, okay? And I noticed this common pattern that we always finish more before lunch, and that after lunch everything slowed down. So I started to look into this when I was working on my degree in psychology. I started to look into this, and I found tons of research on how many people are fresher. Your brain is fresher in the morning than in the afternoon. So the more time you work in the morning, the more you will get done. Period. You always finish more in the morning before lunch than after. Now that's partially because of sugar levels. Like blood sugar levels. That's partially because we have a letdown usually after we've got a full stomach after lunch. So if you eat a light lunch, that would make a difference. But a huge thing in this is that your brain is fresher in the morning. Know that your brain is, this is an average, okay? The research shows that the average person is most efficient in their thinking at about 11 a.m. It's your most efficient time of thinking. Now, You might say, no, Mark, you don't know me. I'm very unique. And my best time of thinking is 3 a.m., okay? I'm going to suggest that you're wrong, and that if you try a routine, that you will find that you're far more efficient in the mornings, okay? Again, I've done this with hundreds of people. Okay, here are my suggestions on what to do in the morning, because people ask me all the time, Mark, what are the kind of things that I can do? What are the kind of things that will help? So here are some things, okay? I've just got a list that I'm going to read off of. But goals, focus on your goals. Focus on your dreams. Focus on the things that help you feel good. I'm going to give you more on that later, okay? So for example, thinking about, I don't know, think about your why. And if you've got a strong why, if you're doing this because you've got a kid who needs you, and if you don't do this, maybe you've got a kid that's not going to survive. Maybe they've got some kind of, I don't know, illness or whatever. Well, you've got a strong why. If you think about that and how good it's going to feel when your kid is running around the playground playing with the other kids instead of being sick or dead, guess what? You're going to be in a good mood, okay? So focus on emotionally impactful things. Do exercise in the morning. I do exercise almost first thing in the morning, okay? I'll give you my quick morning routine. I wake up at 5. I put on the tea kettle. I pour myself a cup of tea. It's turmeric and ginger tea, okay? It's great for my stomach. I sit down with that. I write down some things with gratitude. I focus on all the other things that I need to do in the day. So I focus on my goals and what I'm doing that day. And then I exercise, and then I shower, and I'm ready for my day. Okay, it takes me 2 hours. By 7 o'clock, I'm good to go. So no matter what happens after 7 o'clock, I'm ready for the day. So what are some other things that you can do? The other things you can do is do something difficult in the morning. If you do something difficult first thing in the morning, you are going to feel great that day. I'll give you a really quick suggestion. In the winter, I have a cold shower in the morning. I turn the water as cold as it gets, okay? It actually numbs my skull. Sometimes I don't feel my fingertips for a little bit, and I have very quick showers in the winter, okay? But one of the reasons I do this is because I feel great. Listen, it's a small thing. But every time I'm entering that shower and it's going to be cold, I know it's going to be cold. I know that it's not going to be necessarily all enjoyable. But afterwards, after I've done something that was hard, I feel great afterwards. So do things, figure it out for yourself, but do something difficult in the morning. First thing, that helps you feel good about yourself, all right? Lastly is gratitude. So I'm going to show a video in just a couple of seconds, but when I show this video, I want you to pay attention, and if the audio isn't coming in, Jarek, please let me know, but this is a great video for just being grateful for things. If you practice gratitude in the morning, you will start to show gratitude for other people. You will start to feel better in the day, and that sets up your day. Everyone knows that in sales, in investing, in entrepreneurship, when you feel good, when you feel confident, your day goes well. All right? Here, lastly, start the evening before. A good morning starts the evening before. So if you eat a bunch of garbage, okay, and your stomach is full, and you stay up late, and you have a fight with someone in your family, you think you're going to have a good morning the next day? Give me a break, right? So always just think one step ahead. I've learned that having a good evening routine helps me in the mornings. All right? So what do I do? Listen, if you struggle with sleep, I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions. Ask your doctor for a referral to a sleep clinic. Across Canada, there are sleep clinics. They're free, okay? Typically. So you talk to your doctor, they send you to a sleep clinic, and you're taken care of, okay? They'll find out what's wrong with you. Or most likely. If you struggle with sleep and you just want a quick hint, go ask Mr. Google sleep hygiene. Type in sleep hygiene. You'll find tons of articles, really good information on how to prepare for your evening routine, okay? If you have a good sleep, you're going to have a better morning. Also, in the evening, make sure that you end the day well. Start the day well and end the day well. So when in your evenings, this is what I'm going to suggest. Ask yourself, what did I do well? Focus on the things that you did well that day. Because you're going to feel better if you focus on the things that you didn't do well or the things that are discouraging. You're not going to feel encouraged, okay? So focus on the things you did well and list like 4 or 5 things that you want to accomplish tomorrow. Write them down somewhere. And then tomorrow morning, as soon as you wake up, they're there in front of you. It's not going to be a big deal at all to get into it, okay? So I'm going to go to this video. Again, Jarek, stop me or let me know if it's not coming through. And just notice how focusing on gratitude, focusing on little things that you don't focus on every day, puts you in the right mood, okay? Watch this video, and then give me feedback. Feel free to type in the chat box or to give Jarek or I feedback on how you feel after watching this video. I've got clients that watch this every morning because of how it makes them feel, okay?
No audio.
Okay, let me know in a few seconds if there's some music that starts to come on.
Nope.
It's really quiet right now. Okay, do you hear that at all, Jarek?
It's from the speakers, right? So, not really.
Okay, tell you what. I'm going to cancel that. This is what I want you to do. Actually, you know what? I'm going to type it in just so you guys have this online because it's such an important video. This is what I want you to do. I want you to type in, go to Google, go to videos, and type in gratitude HD moving art. Gratitude HD moving art. If you go to the search engine and type that in for videos, you'll see this video. Okay, it's about a 5-minute long video. Watch this. So this is going to be one of your first action steps. Okay, watch this and notice how you feel. It's incredible, and I don't know how to emphasize this enough. It's going to be incredible how you feel. All right. So this is I'm going to talk about the importance of questions and asking yourself questions and other people questions. Again, make this part of your routine. You will see a huge difference in your life. Number 1, we judge ourselves and others constantly. We're always talking in our heads. How many times have you called yourself stupid when you stub your toe? How many times have you I don't know said come down hard on your kid when they make a simple mistake? We're constantly judging. We're always assuming. You know what assuming does, right? We're consistently assuming that what we're doing and other people are doing are wrong on some level. Now, there are problems with this. The problem with judgment is there's no growth. There are only closed boxes, okay? Judging is like you have all these boxes in your brain, and they all have labels on them, and they say, this is stupid. So if you stub your toe, you're stupid. Well, come on. Sometimes we stub our toes for other reasons, okay? It's not always one thing. And so the problem with judgment is that there's no growth. We don't learn. We don't take something out of one box and put it into another box. So here's the other thing you can do. I want you to get into the routine of being curious. If you get into the routine of being curious and asking questions, you will start to help yourself and others. Curiosity, in one way, is the opposite of judgment, because instead of going, this is the way it is, you start to ask a question. Now, how is this going to help you? I'm going to get back into real estate here. How does this help you? When you are curious, people will start feeling safe with you and share more. Give an example. You go to a property, say a for sale by owner property, and they say, I absolutely need to sell this place. And you go, tell me more about this place. Tell me more about yourselves. So let me learn more about this, okay? You just ask questions. Well, as people share about themselves, if you're asking good questions, you're not judging them. You're going, wow, you're an idiot. Why did you take that bank loan? Are you mentally retarded? Why did you, when you start making judgments, are they going to feel safe with you and sell their home to you? No. When you start to ask better questions and you get into the routine of doing this, people are going to feel safe with you and you're going to start buying more properties for better deals. People will give you a deal. Even if somebody offers them more money, they'll give it to you. Why? Because they feel safe with you. All right? Well, here, this happens with ourselves too, as well, okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start to ask questions about yourself that start to help you understand how you can feel better on a daily basis. This part of what I'm talking about, this actual whole webinar is a webinar that a lot of people are going to look at and go, well, Mark, come on, this is routine, asking yourself questions, this is frou-frou mindset stuff, this isn't important. Listen, this is everything. This is everything. If you have a strong mindset in the morning and the day, when you have confidence going into your day, you are going to get more business done, period. All right. So here are some questions. This is what I want you to do right now. So if you need to sit back, grab a pen, grab a pad of paper, and I want you. And you know what? If you don't write things down, that's fine too. If you just want to sit back and relax and listen and respond with what's going on inside of you, that's fine too. All right. So here's the first question. What are you most happy about in your life right now? Just take a moment. What are you most happy about in your life right now? What's the biggest thing that comes to your mind? Now, if you say, there's nothing, then this is what I'm going to ask. What could you be happy about if you wanted to be? What could you be happy about? Okay? Now, you're thinking about what makes you, what you're most happy about. Now, what makes you happy about it? What makes you happy about that? How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel focusing on this happiness? Just notice it. Here's the next question. And I'm going to follow this routine. I'm going to ask the same 3 questions to you after each first question. So the second question is, what are you really excited about in life? What are you really excited about in life right now? As you look about in the future, or you think about the past, you think about where you are, what are you really excited about? Again, if you say there's nothing, I'm going to force you to work a little bit, okay? What could you be excited about if you wanted to be? Now, what makes you excited about that? What makes you excited about that? How does it make you feel being excited about that? Just live in that excitement for a bit. Okay, next question. What are you really grateful for? Today, right now, as you're watching this video, what are you grateful for? What makes you grateful about that? How does it make you feel to be grateful about that? Now here's the last 2 questions are really good. What are you proud about with your own business, your own life? What are you most proud about right now? What about that makes you proud? When you're thinking about this, how does it make you feel? Just be. You don't have to necessarily put a word to that, okay? Last question. Who do you really love? And who really loves you right now? Who do you really love and who really loves you right now? Don't focus on the poor relationships. Focus on the good ones. How do you feel about that? Thinking about who you love and who loves you, how do you feel? Now listen, after just that short routine that I gave you, this lasted what? 2 minutes? 1 minute? I took very little time on it, okay? You can spend a lot of time on this. I'm not asking you to spend hours on this every day, but spending time on this, just asking those few questions. How do you feel right now? Isn't it amazing how really quickly, almost instantly, you can change your state? And the way I changed your state right now was simply by asking you the right questions. Simply by asking you the right questions. So this is what I want you to do. I'm going to give you guys some homework. We'll probably end a little bit early because I didn't have that video, and I'm not going to talk about it very much. But I'm going to give you some action steps, all right? So here's the first action step. I want you to come up with a list of questions you can ask yourself every morning and evening. So this list of questions isn't going to be the list of questions that Mark asks or Jarek asks or anyone else asks, okay? You're going to find a list of questions. Feel free to borrow or steal from me or anyone else, okay? I'm not worried about that. But what I'm saying is find something that works for you. Come up with a list of like 2 or 3 questions that when you ask these questions, you feel fantastic every morning. You feel fantastic. Not okay, not good, fantastic. You're on top of the world when you think about these. For me, when I ask that one question about what am I proud about right now, I'm proud about a bunch of things right now, okay? When I think about who I love and who loves me, I think about my kids and my wife, and then that gets me into a great place. So for me, those questions are incredible. Create a list of questions that work for you. They don't have to be long. It can at least probably 2 or 3, but you don't have to have any more than like 5, okay? Spend time on this. Spend 10, 15 minutes coming up with these questions. This is how you will, listen, you're not going to come up with them immediately, but find out what kind of things help you feel good. And then ask yourself questions that put you in that place. All right? Next, find some accountability. With routine, one thing that's really helpful is accountability. So I talked about Jerry Seinfeld's system of putting X's on a calendar. Listen, there are other ways to do this. One way is to find accountability. So find someone in your life that's safe for you. Don't find a police person, okay? Don't find somebody who's a little dictator and they're going to destroy your life if you make a mistake. That's not the person you choose. What you're going to find is somebody who won't police you, somebody who's safe, somebody who will challenge you though, okay? Also, don't find someone like a junior high friend. You know, junior high friends were like, no matter what you say, my parents are so awful. They're like, oh, your parents are so awful. Don't find a friend like that, okay? Find a friend who's going to be honest with you, okay? And find some accountability. And what you're going to do is publicly, and this, again, great research on this, the more you make commitments publicly, the more you are able to follow through with those commitments, okay? Now, again, if you want research on this, contact me, mark@markfrentz.com. I will give you research on this. I will give you lots of examples. I'll give you a couple of books to read, okay? But trust me with this. If you're not going to be the reader, trust me with this. If you make public statements, if you commit something to somebody else, you are far more likely to do it than if you just commit something to yourself. Okay? So find some accountability, strong enough to challenge you, kind enough, safe enough, and then what I want you to do is I want you to practice absolute honesty with this person, no matter what. I've got an accountability partner. Every morning before 7 o'clock, I tell this person whether I completed my morning routine or not. Okay? Most times I say, I'm good to go. Every once in a while I'll say, I didn't do my morning routine. And I commit to, I'm going to do it by this time, or by whatever, okay? Or I missed, I'll be back on track tomorrow. When I do that, there's a fundamental change. I actually get more done. So do this with real estate deals. Do this with a lot of things. And do it to somebody who you've got a relationship with, okay? So find someone you respect, connect with them and say, I'm going to make 3 cold calls tomorrow, or I'm going to make 3 cold calls this week, or I'm going to make 3 cold calls today before noon. When you do that, you are more likely to get things done, all right? Lastly, come up with your own routine, okay? I've talked about my routine. I've talked about some suggestions on my part. I talked about gratitude. Do you know that gratitude actually changes your brain? It changes how your brain functions. So that if you practice gratitude every morning, what's going to happen is when things happen in your day that seem to throw off most people, you won't be thrown off because you'll see the things in them that are good, all right? Legitimately, it's just about brain training, okay? Come up with your routine. Find out what works for you. So I told you some of my clients watch that video every morning. Some of my clients have gratitude journals. They write a list every morning. Some of my clients don't do gratitude. They do other things in the morning. Find what works for you. This is what I would suggest. I want you to talk to a few other people that you respect in your industry and your life. Okay? So in real estate investing, I want you to talk to a few people that you respect. So by respect, this is what I mean. 2 things. One, they have to be really successful at real estate investing. Okay? So they don't own 3 homes and still work full time at their job. These are people who are professionals and they've done this for decades. And then secondly, that they're very good at it. Okay? And try to find someone that you want to be like, that you want to emulate. Not that you're going to be exactly this person, but you're going to be like them. Okay? So if you want to be, I don't know, if you want to be like Donald Trump, go right ahead. All right? You want to be the Prime Minister of Canada or the President of the United States someday, that's fine. Okay? Then start to focus on what Donald Trump does in his routine. But if you want to be a little bit more like Jarek and in his success, or if you want to have more success, like, I don't know, there are people in this community that you'll know, Shelley Hagan or whoever. There are lots of people in this industry who are really successful. Well, start to ask them about their routines, and they will feel comfortable telling you. I guarantee you that if you talk to people who are really successful, they have a routine. They have a routine. It's not going to look like mine. Everyone's going to be different, but they're going to have a routine. Okay? Ask them what their routine is. And then just take the things that you go, hey, that's a great idea. Whenever you have that insight, wherever you go, that's a good idea. Just take that into your own routine and start building it in. Okay? I remember asking Shelley once, what is your weekly routine? Not her morning routine. What was your weekly routine? And she told me. So every Friday I do this. Every Monday I do this. I've got this consistent schedule that helps me in my business. Okay, so last slide here. I'm going to just give you a few other thoughts, and then I'm going to give you a time for questions, all right? So daily routine is extremely important, and that's what I focused on mostly in this webinar, is how important your daily routine is. If you finish 3, 4, 5, 6 cold calls, and not like I'm going to call 6 people, but I'm going to get in touch with 6 people. So if I have to call 15 people before I get in touch with 6 people, that's fine. But I'm going to like have a list on my table and an X every time I get in touch with somebody. When you start to do that, it's going to become easy for you. You're going to have a foundation for your business that skyrockets you, all right? And you're going to feel good doing it. You're going to have a ton of confidence. Now, here are some tips, some other thoughts. Weekly routines and monthly routines are extremely important as well, okay? So have a weekly routine. Have a monthly routine. Have a quarterly routine or a yearly routine. When is it that you do taxes? When is it that you pay bills? When is it that you check in on tenants? When is it that you do check in on your property managers? When is it that you do have these systems, okay? When is it that you take care of all your receipts and expenses and report them, okay? Or put them in a spreadsheet for tax purposes or whatever. Have a routine for these little things. The more routine you are, the less you have to think about it. So again, when I started driving the car, I had to focus on everything. I remember driving on Deerfoot. I live in Calgary. I remember driving on Deerfoot and being freaked out. When we went on a curve, it was so hard to stay in the lines because it was new for me. But as I've done it day after day after day, I don't know when the last time it is where I actually physically thought, I used brain energy to think, Mark, make sure you stay in the lines. Like, I never think that anymore. Why? Because it's habit. It's routine for me, okay? So set things up that work for you, for your family. Make sure that your family is booked in here, okay? So for me, if it isn't booked, it doesn't happen. It generally doesn't happen. I learned that the hard way. I learned that by working too many hours and not spending enough time with my family at one time, okay? That was years ago. I've changed a lot since then. But book in family trips. For me, I'm in Calgary, so Callaway Park, I've got a 6 and an 8-year-old. I book it in, I set it in my schedule, and we go to Callaway Park. And we always do it on like a Monday or a Friday or sometime in the week. So it's not busy or relaxed. It's far more enjoyable because I'm an entrepreneur. I get to do that, okay? I get to make my own time, my own schedule. So this is what I do. You don't have to do this. I get most of my work done. I book in most of my appointments. I book in most of the stuff I have to do on a consistent basis on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. This is why. Because Mondays and Fridays are often long weekends. And I've got lots of family who aren't entrepreneurs. And so their schedule, sometimes that's the only time they've got off. So if there's a long weekend and somebody wants to spend time with me, now that's easy. Just book off a Monday or a Friday and it's somebody else's, okay? And I keep that Tuesday to Thursday really important. I'm really consistent in those days. So find the things in your schedule that are the most important and stick with them. Another thing, with your routine, as you set up a schedule, as you set up a routine, account for sick days. Listen, and it doesn't necessarily need to be sick. I don't often get sick. I've been sick once this year. It was for 2 days, okay? Most people have a down day. It might be a sick day. It might be something else. It might be just that you're feeling like drained and you needed a day to just rest a little bit. That's fine. Book those in. Book in a couple of weeks every year, okay? And then when it happens, it's not a big deal. You get right back into your routine after that, okay? Here's another suggestion. Try an online scheduling agent. So here's the example. I'm not getting paid anything for this, okay? I've used a couple. I've used Calendly.com. It was free to use, and it was fine. It was good. There's nothing to complain about. But then somebody told me about ScheduleOnce.com. It's a paid service. I pay for it. But you know what now? If somebody wants to book in something with me, and Jarek has one of these too, okay? We use this with each other all the time, okay? But he will send me an email, and it says, pick one of these times. And when I send an email to somebody, it's got my schedule that I've opened for certain kinds of calls. So if it's for example, in real estate investing, if it's a call to book in people for potential money partner talks, or if it's for distressed sellers. I've got 2 different sections, okay? And then I just send out a link. Somebody books in at a time that works for them. I waste no time on this. It's automatically booked in. It books into my calendar, and it's done, okay? I just don't book things during those times other than those calls. So find something that works for you. Find something that really works for you and helps you in many ways. All right, any questions? Are there any questions that are coming in, Jarek?
Just give me a second. Guys, any questions? Leon, you have a raised hand, so I'm going to unmute you. Hi, Leon. No reply? Okay, Mark, looks like no questions.
Okay.
I see no question.
Do you see anything? So, Jarek, as I do this, do you see anything where you could ask me a question that would help our audience right now?
Where to start? You remember that we were talking that I will start working and waking up at 6 o'clock? My average waking is 3-4 days a week, just to let you know.
Yep.
It's very, very challenging. However, what I have found after doing such a way that I have been performing much better, and most of the time which I'm focusing on working up to 11, my schedule is, my tasks to be done for the day are almost finished.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost.
I get so much done in the morning, Jarek. It's amazing. By the afternoon, if my day has to fall apart, that's fine. If my kid breaks his leg and we have to go to the hospital, it's not a problem for my business because it's done usually by that time.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what I see it as an advantage. Sometimes I am still having challenges to wake up, just to let you know, right? Yeah. So I believe that it's much more beneficial. There is no doubt, right? And you know that I have been developing. I am very, very messy guy, per se, overall, no doubt, right? However, as you mentioned, having the calendar integrated, having on a regular basis a task to be done at that particular time frame, makes everything, all the workflow, much easier. Unfortunately, you have to rely on somebody else if you're running, the company where there are people being hired, right? So you cannot control fully their performance. However, that improves entire logistics, and the things are done much, much faster, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And that's number one. Number two, that video, I have already bookmarked it, and I'm going to see it, how that can benefit me on a regular basis. However, I'm very thankful for, being alive. I'm very thankful for whatever is happening in my life. I do enjoy every weekend going with the family. And good luck reaching out to me in Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
But
so
that's the family time.
Sundays are a family day for me, and I do not respond to my phone on Sundays. I refuse to. Sometimes I even turn it off for the day.
That's right. Yep. That's what I'm doing. That's very common, and I do believe that it is very beneficial, because you have to turn off the switch. Yeah. And you have to enjoy your life. And I can encourage everybody who is on the webinar, do a lot of things which makes you happy with the family, Saturday, Sundays, because if you will be focusing on doing the stuff on Saturday, Sundays, not only related to the work, you will be having constant working days, doesn't matter which day there is, and you're not going to be happy. You will be not performing correctly, and you can do much more work within those 5 days of working days and having, day off instead of working all the time, because you will not perform. That's another suggestion, if I can add it from my perspective. And I have a couple guys already asking some questions, so.
Yeah, here, I'm going to just comment on that as you get ready for the question. So having rest, booking rest and days off or time off in your day or your week or your month is far more important than having a big holiday. If you have one big holiday a year, but you're working for, the other 350 days of the year, you're not going to have rest in your life. You're not going to feel good. And what Jarek said is absolutely perfect. He just talked to me about a trip that he went on in the last little while. And I go on trips all the time. I'm going this weekend on another backcountry trip. Do things that fill your spirit. Do things that are enjoyable to you on a consistent basis. It doesn't have to be sitting in bed for a day. That's not rest, okay? What rest is doing what you enjoy doing in different ways. So find other hobbies. Discover other things about yourself. Absolutely. Okay, what are the other questions?
Okay, I have Elliot. Elliot, you are unmuted. Guys, you have a mic, so you can talk.
Go ahead, Elliot.
Elliot, say something. You have a mic. Okay. Many people, they don't even realize they have a mic, but that's okay. What time does your evening routine start?
Okay, so that's a really good question. This is going to be different for everyone, okay? For me, I wake up at 5 in the morning. Everyone needs a different amount of sleep. For me, I find that when I'm on a consistent routine, 7 hours of sleep is more than enough, okay? It's more than enough. So if I'm actually falling asleep, not getting into bed at 10, but falling asleep at 10, then my day is good. So what I do is I start my evening routine usually about 9 o'clock. But I've even got before that. So like at 7 o'clock, usually I'm reading bedtime stories to my kids. Okay, so we've got that routine. But usually for my routine specifically, it starts about 9 o'clock, and I've got a few things that I do. I write down some goals. I focus on my goals. I focus on what's going to happen tomorrow. I make sure that I'm taking care of myself. I've got like my teeth brushing and all that stuff. But I do it in a consistent way. It doesn't happen exactly the same, but it happens in a consistent way. And by the time 10 o'clock happens, and this is the importance of an evening routine, by the time 10 o'clock happens, you can't keep my eyes open. Because my body is so used to going to bed at that time that if I'm up till 11, my brain just shuts off. I went on a camping trip with some friends, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and after 10 o'clock, my brain would shut off. And they said, Mark, go to bed. Like you're speaking nonsense right now. And that was good. They understood. I went to bed. I kept waking up at 5 o'clock. They wouldn't wake up until 7 o'clock, and I got a bunch done in the mornings there too, okay? Whether it was just like cooking for people or whatever. But it's so enjoyable to have that, and it comes from the evening. My evening routine is probably about an hour long. I still get a lot done. It's just consistent what I get done.
Okay, so then we have Leon. Leon, can you say something? Okay, since when do you have a routine? That's number one question.
Okay, so I started learning about routine when I had first graduated from high school. So I was the most disorganized person you'd ever met. Okay, I didn't even graduate from high school at the beginning because I was so disorganized. Because I refused to take tests, because I refused to do a bunch of things. Okay, so I had big problems. I was going to be a failure in life. If you ask the teachers, I was going to be the number one failure. But what I discovered, I went to Sweden for a couple of years. I came back, and what I discovered is there were a couple of people that I really respected in my life. And I asked them, one day I just asked, and this is just chance, okay? I asked them, hey, why are you so good at this? Basically, I was asking them for their secrets, okay? And you know what they said? Both of them said, I have a strong morning routine. So since then, so this is probably, I was about 20 years old. I'm 38 right now. So the last 18 years, I've had a strong morning routine. Now listen, this isn't perfect. So like Jarek said, he does maybe 3-4 a week. I probably, on average, have about 6 days a week where I wake up at 5 o'clock, okay? So sometimes I'll be, like I said, I got sick a week ago, and I was sick for a few days. Well, that took a few days off, and my morning routine changed, okay? But as soon as that was done, I got back on, and I found that that's completely changed my life. It's completely changed my life. I have far more freedom than most other people. What is the other question?
Did you have a routine when you start your business?
So I did. I changed my routine when I started my business. Okay, when I was working I was working as a psychologist for Alberta Health Services, and I changed and I started working for myself. I just changed my routine. So this is what's most important for me. Most important for me is that I need about 2 hours in the morning for my routine, and that's just before I start my business day. So with Alberta Health Services, I was starting at a certain time, and I was waking up at a certain time. Now that I'm doing my own thing, I start a little bit earlier, and so I change my routine a little bit. Okay. Now there are 2 parts. Probably 3 parts to my routine. One part of my routine is just every morning looks basically the same. I do the same things every morning, and it helps me. Okay. The exercise, the ginger turmeric tea, that kind of stuff. I've got an evening routine. That's the second thing. And that's about the same every day. I do the same kind of things. I go through my goals list. I get ready for bed, that kind of thing. And then there's the third thing. And this is more like a weekly routine. And the beauty of being an entrepreneur is I can make my own routine. So I talked to my wife, and we went, what works for us? And so we decided that this is what works best. So we came up with a system, and then I follow that system, and I consistently follow that system. Even when Jarek and I were setting up these calls, he said, "Hey, listen, Mark, does an evening work?" And I said, "You know what? Evenings are family time for me, and some of my evenings are already taken up. So let's try it in the mornings." And just before this call, Jarek said, "Hey, listen, we're having just as good turnouts here as in the evenings." Yeah. So because Jarek and I have made the decision to set our routine, to say, listen, this is when we will make ourselves available to people, those people that want to be part of it, they'll be a part of it. The other people, whatever, okay? If they're at work, that's one thing, and they can watch the video later. But if they're just choosing not to, well, that's their choice, and that's okay.
Perfect. So, Mark, we are wrapping up. There is almost an hour. I believe that's perfect time frame. Like always, I'd have a pleasure listening and watching and making the notes and implementing into my life strategies. So looking forward for the next presentation, and there will be in a couple of weeks, and we will be continuing doing that Street Smart Real Estate Investing with Mark Frentz on regular basis, and whoever is participating, please start implementing, test it, share your experiences, give us the feedback for the future, and I will be very, very excited to see your life improve and your business improve, because that's what is it about, right?
Yeah, listen, we're doing this basically monthly right now. When I'm doing these, what I'm doing is I'm going back to what has created the most success in the lives of my clients, in the lives of my mentors and my gurus that have taught me. I'm asking what has made people successful in business specifically and in real estate specifically. And so I'm giving you only what I believe is the best of the best, guys. Now, some of these things you're not ready for, so you'll go like, that's not too important for me. That's okay. You'll come to a place where you believe it is important. But as you do these things, I put the action steps here on the screen again. As you take care of the action steps, you're going to find that your life changes, and it will be better. I guarantee that.
Thank you very much.